Okay, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Hey, we're doing something a little bit different today. I'm kind of just I recorded myself doing some drawing. We're going to be talking about, I guess, AI, the state of AI, and my perspective as like an artist. I get people ask me all the time about that sort of stuff, so I just thought I'd make a video about it, especially with like all the new Sora AI stuff. And, I did this great thing where I rotated the footage so that you could see myself drawing from, like, the right perspective, but unfortunately, this part was recorded thinking about it the other way, so whatever, it's my pencil case, who gives a shit, right? I've had that pencil case for a very long time, to be honest. I remember I got it for Christmas, probably back in, like, 2006, 2007 or something. I think my uncle gave it to me. Yeah. Cool pencil case. It's alright. Showing off my pens that I bought when I was in Japan. It's alright. It's cool. It's not bad. That's a pencil my friend gave me in primary school, and I still have it. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm just like showing off my stuff, I guess. Ooh, wow. Oh god, this is a very new experience for me. I've never done this before. Dude, I literally thought, oh, this is gonna be no time at all. I'm gonna record the podcast. It's gonna be awesome. It's sick, right? Well, as it turns out, this was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. And it took some fiddling, and it's already almost 1 p.m, so that's great. Anyway. Yeah, don't worry, the footage will get better sooner. It'll, like, be more zoomed in to, like, the pad. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit because I was actually kind of nervous recording this today when I was recording the drawing. It's so funny, isn't it? I stream my art, like, pretty much every weekday on my Kick. Kick.com/KatieDraws, by the way, if you want to watch more. And, oh yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about today was just how I kind of feel about, like, the anime titty police. That's kind of like a term, I guess, that people have coined or whatever. It's about more than just, like, anime titties though, right? So I'm just taking a drink of my sody. Yeah, so that's like the three things I wanted to touch on today, but I guess maybe I'll talk about that first. So I guess in like the outcome of like the last video that I made about Bonnie Blue and feminism, right? I don't want to become like the feminist podcast or like, oh, I'm talking about like gender wars. We're at war with the genders. Like, I don't want to become like that kind of thing. You know, I think my stance on all that stuff is pretty like, I'm not going to say middle of the road, but I don't have like radical views about like how we should live in a society. You know, like when I think about, for example, intimate relations between like, you know, women and men. Because that's all I can speak of. Like, I don't know what it's like for people who are, like, gay. But from my point of view, it's like, I don't view all intimacy as, like, forms of abuse against, like, women and stuff. You know, like, I think that intimacy has a lot of potential to be just amazing for, like, people, right? So, like, that's just kind of, like, one of the more extreme examples, I guess. Like, I'm still very much for... I'm for intimate relations with your partner if you're both, like, you know, consenting people. Yada yada yada, right? And, you know, how this all kind of ties in with, like, the art stuff is, like, yeah, I was kind of making this video about feminism and grappling with, like, okay, well, the art that I draw, it's, you know, in many ways probably is quite objectifying of women, right? And, you know, just kind of grappling with, like, that idea. It's like, okay, well, I can see why. And, you know, I also interact with a lot of media that is focused on objectifying women. One of my favorite games is Dead or Alive, and I grew up playing the extreme volleyball games. I played the Xbox one. The Xbox, the first Xbox. It's the Xbox that's shaped like a fucking X. You know the one. I played the Extreme and DOA fighting games on that, and I grew up with that. And I loved I loved Extreme. It's a beach volleyball game featuring the girls who fight in like the main game, if you don't know. And of course it's like a completely objectifying game. Like I mean Dead or Alive is like a series, has kind of always been pretty objectifying, I guess, and sexualizing. And there's some characters who are like, oh, you know, they're all about that, and there's some characters where it's like, probably doesn't make that much sense to do it to them. But it does, because that's just how that game is. And I always played Dead or Alive Extreme in the way that it's like not intended to be played. I just really like the swimsuits, I like the fashion of it. I like collecting them. I like giving them to like the different girls, because there's like a mechanic for like gifting and all that shit. And it's like, it's nice to give girls the swimsuits that like are not their favorites. It sounds weird, but it's like they'll have like liked swimsuits, favorite ones, and ones they really fucking hate. And the swimsuits kind of correlate with like the personality of the different girls. Like if you get Ayani's swimsuits, I think they're all like cutesy, purpley, and you know, they have favorite colors, and if the swimsuit isn't their favorite color, then they fucking hate it, you know. And I'm like, Helena, just put on a fucking red bikini, it'll look good. You know, like I really enjoy that. And you know what, I even really enjoyed the slot machine games on that too. Yeah, little like 10-year-old me playing slot machines on Dead or Alive. Woohoo, awesome, that's awesome. And even today, I play Extreme 3 on the PS4, and I still really enjoy the game. Dude, I love playing, like, the beach volleyball game mode. It's so fun. I just really enjoy it. And, you know, I think, like, games like these, people look at, and it's very, like, contentious, because people are like, oh, Western society can't handle games like these. And it's like, well, listen, I like the game, but then there's stuff in it where it's like, I can see why people don't like this, you know? And it's like it has a mechanic for like peeking at the girls when they're changing and stuff, to try and get a look at them when they're in the middle of changing in front of you and shit. And like there's all these like mechanics that genuinely feel very like seedy to look at, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be interacting like this. Makes you feel fucking like gross and perverted. It's like, do guys not feel like that? Do you guys not interact with these perv mechanics and think like, this is kind of fucking weird, and what the fuck is this teaching people, right? What is this encouraging? It's like that's where I do start to have the problems with it. But the thing is, I'll still play the game, I'll still enjoy it. I just, those mechanics I don't like, I just don't interact with them, you know? But I still don't like that they're there. And then there's characters like Mary Rose, for example. If you don't know who Mary Rose is, she's basically the game's like lolly character, where she looks like she's fucking 11 years old, but obviously she's like a fully grown adult woman. And the thing about Mary Rose is that like, I really love like her fashion. That's the thing about Dead or Alive. The fashion that they put those like characters in, I was gonna say girls. To be honest, I don't really pay attention to the guys' fashion. I'm not interested in guys' fashion, full stop, so I guess that just makes sense for me. But Mary Rose's fashion is so cute. I love her fashion. But I get really uncomfortable with like the sexualization of her character as well, because, you know, like, you can say like, oh, she's an adult woman, but like, let's not act like all ignorant on like what they're really intending to do with that. But then there's a hard thing with that too, because, you know, women who are of a smaller stature, like petite, you know, the very infamous porn category petite, you know, there are women out there who actually exist and live in that kind of body type, right? And it's like, are we really going to say like all of that is, you know, trying to get away with, I don't know, is it like low-key like pedo stuff? I don't know, but I think the difference here is that with Mary Rose, they actually do intentionally put her in like swimsuits that are reminiscent of like children's swimsuits. There's no going back. There's no There's no two ways about that. Some of them are more like, okay, that's like what a woman would wear, and then there's some that are like, okay, that is literally like a frilly swimsuit with like ducks on it or something. I'm trying to think of the one that I'm thinking of, but she has these two like, yeah, and it's like, okay, we all know what you're trying to evoke here. And it's fucking weird. It's not even weird, it's just straight up like, it's straight up wrong, right? So, God, I don't know how I'm gonna get through an hour of this today. I feel so on the spot. I don't know why. It's so... okay. Yeah, so I think, there's stuff like that I grapple with these things, and it's like, well, I like the game, but I don't like this thing about it, right? And it's kind of an unfortunate part of it all, I guess, in a lot of issues we have in today's society, is trying not to be the kind of person who's like, if you don't agree with every single thing that I think and say and do, then I am Thanos snapping you out of my life. Like, I try not to be that kind of person, because I don't know, like, I guess I'm talking about something completely different now, but yeah, it's just not, it's not great, I guess. And you think about like, okay, well, we do all have our own standards. Like, the Western world has different views on certain things, and obviously in places like Japan they have clearly different views on things, and I definitely don't agree with a lot of them. But yeah, it's just like the geopolitics, right? Wow, what is this podcast? Anyway, so I was just thinking about, yeah, like I think the way that I see it in my mind is that the characters that I draw and, I guess sexualize and put in like sexual scenes and stuff, I guess that's kind of, I just don't think there really is any like, I guess, excuse for that. I just make sure that the characters that I draw are adults, and I draw them as adults, like, I think that also another thing is I try to draw them, having a good time instead of making it like weird and, weird and R-wordy and stuff. But, sometimes you get commissioned to do something and it's like, okay, well, it's not really what I'd love to draw, but I'll do it because I kind of need the money. Yeah. I still have standards though. I mean, people have actually tried to commission me to draw, stuff like what we'll talk about with the Mary Rose stuff, but actual like characters who are underage and stuff, and I go, fuck off. I don't even reply to them. I don't even talk to them. It's just, no, I wouldn't do that. Even if I need the money, I wouldn't do that. It's extremely disturbing. And this is like the problem with, like, I'm sorry, but people go and say like, oh, Japan is so like, they're just different and we can't invade their country with our like Western beliefs. And it's like, oh, so the Western belief is hey, let's not sexualize children. Okay, do we have a problem with that? Do we really have issues with that? I think that ideally every country should perhaps not do that. Like, let's not marry children, guys. They're children. They should be in school. They should be, developing and stuff, and leave them to their... God, let them have a childhood, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It's supremely fucked up. And I don't think that... I don't know. Everyone's so obsessed with, like, preserving, like, Japanese culture and stuff, and unfortunately I think the protection of like making this kind of content where it's like sexualizing children, or at least characters that are like coded to be like children, it's very weird. And I for one, I'm not going to promote that. I don't think that that's right. The fuck? And I don't see how anyone can think that's okay unless they're like actually kind of into it. But like I said, here's where it comes into like the anime titty police in some ways. Sometimes I do have problems with like, you can have a character who is like a petite woman and you're not sexualizing her, you're just drawing her, and you might be drawing this character to be like really cute and stuff. and maybe they're wearing like, I don't know, a crop top or something, and then people are like, oh my god, it's a child and stuff, and it's like, well, it's a petite woman. But I guess the lines kind of get blurred a little bit when it's like, it's anime, because, you know, there's that reputation that anime has, and god, it's a really complicated subject. I think it's only complicated because there's just so much, when it comes to art, there's just so many different interpretations for so many different things. Sorry, my soda's coming off. Girl, that was gross. And I don't know, and it's like, again, like, yeah, there are women out there who actually do exist who look like that, and, you know, when you draw these characters who are maybe like the standard, is it the standard beauty type where they have like the really big busts and like short waists and tiny little waists, big boobs, fat asses, and people are like, girl, women do not look like that. And it's like, well, I mean, you say that, but who are you really talking about here? And like, are you really going to generalize all of womankind? You know, I've seen people who look at video games and like boob jizzle, oh my god. Okay, Freudian slip there. Boob jiggle physics. Not jizzle, jiggle. The jizzle physics come later. No, the jiggle physics, and they go, oh, women's boobs don't actually move like that. And it's like, well, I actually have... I don't mean to be a pick-me girl. People will call me a pick-me girl for this, but like, I legitimately have seen boobs move like that. In some cases. You know, there are definitely, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some really egregious examples of boob jiggle physics, where it's just like, unreal, right? But it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to look at. It's kind of funny to think about. But then it's also like, well, men don't get that kind of treatment, you know? Men don't get that treatment at all. We don't see jiggle physics for, like, the guy's pants, you know? I'd like to see that. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be different, it'd be new. You know, give them some, like, grey sweatpants and some jiggle physics for the junk in the front. Heck, even give them butt jiggle physics. Like, why not? Why not, hey? I know, Metal Gear Solid, didn't they give the guys, like, caked up butts in that? Ugh, love it. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know, I just, it's more like questions. I don't have any real, like, good answers about, like, this stuff about, like, sexualization and stuff, and, like, objectification. I don't really know. As an artist, it's like, I draw what I like to see, I guess, and is it realistic? Most of the time, probably not, actually. Most of the time it's probably pretty unrealistic. I tend to draw, you know, hyperrealism fantasy, and, you know, I guess that doesn't really lend itself to reality all that much. Which is, like, another thing. When I'm drawing, like, actual realistic bodies and stuff, I'm not out here giving them, like, a Kim Kardashian waist, right? When I'm doing actual physical studies, like anatomy studies of, like, real people, it's like, okay, we're working with reality here, we're doing this in the confines of reality. Let's make sure those ribs actually look like general realistic ribs, right? Hey, some people get their ribs removed. I think some people are born with maybe less ribs. There's outliers there, you know? Why does what you draw have to be representative of, like, an average? If that's what you want to go for, then I think that's good. I think you should draw what you want at the end of the day. You know? I don't know. I think that's kind of how I feel about it in some ways. But I understand where a lot of the anger comes from, especially with, like, you know, how tired we can be of, you know, we women can be of, like, seeing the chain armor bikini stuff. I understand it, you know. I've felt it too, like, I really have. I've felt that with games where it's like kind of eye rolly, like rolling your eyes like, whatever, giving me like another metal bikini that actually isn't protective. We've all heard the arguments about it and stuff. We're all familiar. And it's, yeah. It can be quite shitty to see sometimes. And, you know, some games are just so over the top with their sexualization, and I don't know when I stopped really feeling that way. Maybe it's when I stopped playing those types of games. I don't play, like, World of Warcraft anymore. To be honest, I think my biggest gripe with World of Warcraft is just the dong flaps. Every outfit is like a fucking dong flap. They're like, if we want to show off, like, the woman's legs, let's give her, like, a really long piece of, like, cloth that covers her genital region and goes down to her feet so she can trip over them. But then we get all that leg action going. Yeah, it's good for mobility. It's like, okay. You couldn't come up with anything more creative? And, you know, I played games where they give me more, like, conservative, more sensible armor options. And then I'm sad. Then I'm like, oh, I feel like frumpy now. I want to wear cute stuff. I want to look cute. Is there something wrong with wanting to look cute? And then, you know, some people might say, like, well, what you think is cute on a woman is what you've been kind of brainwashed to think. You know, like, I've grown up playing Extreme 3 and stuff. I'm used to seeing, you know, a certain body type in bikinis, and it's like, well, you just want to see more of that, huh? I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that. I really don't know. I think in some ways, like, yeah, we obviously grow up seeing things and things appeal to us, I guess. But then I don't know, actually, because it's like, well, if you grew up and you found out that you were attracted to, like, you know, the same sex or something, I don't know, like, can you say that you grew up that way because you were born that way? Yeah. I think everyone would probably say that. So you didn't learn to like that because of what you saw in, like, media. Is it the same for, like, all kinds of attractions? Like, I don't really know. Am I attracted to seeing these, you know, these styles because I grew up seeing them, or is it just because I'm born this way? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure, and I don't know if we'll ever really know the answer. I think at the end of the day, though, my intentions are not, like, they're not bad. There's this NSFW artist that I really admire. Calm Draws. Calm. His name's Calm or something. I think he goes by Calm Draws on some website. And I really liked his description, because his description was, I like to draw people enjoying themselves and enjoying each other. And you really get that sense in his drawings. He really likes to draw, just scenes of people just having a good time, and there is actually focus on, you know, women's enjoyment in that whole regard. Man, this is awkward, isn't it? This is a fucking awkward podcast. And so I think I like that. I think that's good representation, right? Because a lot of, you know, pornography and stuff, it doesn't show women being really a center of attention when it comes to, like, you know, their role of enjoyment and what, like, their partner's role can have in influencing their enjoyment. Wow. Really trying the, like, HR talk with this one. So it's interesting. I don't know. It's like intention. I think intention is pretty important when it comes to all this stuff. Maybe that's like the thing at the end of the day, but then you can say that you have, like, good intentions and stuff, and people will say that you're lying, or they'll say that you're just, like, even though you have good intentions, you're just, like, brainwashed. You know? It's like, it's when sometimes when people meet someone who's not of their ideology, maybe it just becomes this, like, accusation that their state of mind is just not the right state of mind or something. And yeah, I don't know how to feel about all of it. That's why I keep saying I don't really know how to feel about these things, because I haven't come up with any real solutions, or I guess solutions not the right thing. I just keep saying I don't know, because I really don't know. Like, how am I supposed to know that the things I like to draw are things that I actually like? You know? And it's just a weird place to be feeling. Like, I enjoy the drawings I do. I have fun doing them. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do them, you know? I find enjoyment in doing a lot of different things. And I mean, although to be honest, when I was drawing this thing, oh my god, this was a disaster. These two first drawings that I did were, let's just say they were warm-ups, because they were terrible. Terrible. It's hard drawing the top of the page when it's so far away from you. The perspective is just so off. Anyway, I just had to get that out there, because these two drawings were embarrassing, but they do get better. I draw I think two anime girls after this, because topical. So yeah, I don't really know how to feel about all this stuff, and I don't know. I don't like being in like gender wars, as I said. Anyway, I don't really know how I got onto talking about this stuff, like I guess just continuing the conversation of like sexualization and objectification, and it's like, I think it's just such a complicated, big subject, and you know, as like me personally, I'm a part of that, and I guess like I enjoy those aesthetics in a way, and I feel very like I'm not a part of the I don't know, the current viewpoint of like what it is to be a woman now or something. Like that's how I feel personally, and I don't like that feeling, because it's like I enjoy my liberation to be able to do what I'm doing, you know? Like, I remind myself all the time that, you know, it wasn't that long ago that women weren't allowed to even own their own bank accounts, right? Like, I love that I'm able to do what I do, and I love having my own bank account. Hey, it's pretty nice actually having those rights. Love it. But it just kind of feels like I'm like betraying women in some way by drawing what I do. And I don't want to feel that way, you know? Because I love women, and I stand up for all the stuff that, you know, women want to fight for. But sometimes it just feels like it doesn't include me or something. Sometimes that's how I feel, you know? Like, sometimes I feel like there are people I've met who are way more adamant about, like, the metal bikinis, for instance. And for me, I'm kind of like, yeah, true that. That's really annoying. But then I'm downloading all these, like, sexy clothing mods for, like, Oblivion, because I just love the clothing. I don't know. But then people will go, well, the body has that body type in that clothing has become a part of the fashion. I was like, oh god, I don't want to promote unhealthiness and yada yada and stuff, but it's like, yeah, it's this weird thing where I feel like, I don't know, there was a time where it felt like I needed to draw more diverse, like, body types and stuff, and I just personally I didn't enjoy it. And I'm being Bible, right? I'm truthing right now. I didn't enjoy doing it. I didn't have fun with it. I don't know. And like, it, you know, what do you do about that? What do you do about that? I don't know what to do about that. I felt really bad about it for the longest time, because it was like, oh, I feel like it's been a while since I drew someone who wasn't this body type, so I guess I've got to do something like that now. And I just really personally didn't enjoy it. And I thought, like, well, what's the point of me making art if I'm trying to appease, like, a viewer or like a certain group of viewers or something like that, right? I think that it should be more of like, I'm drawing this because I want to draw it, and if you want to look at it and you like it, then cool. If you don't like it, then you can move on and find something you do like. I don't think I need to appeal. I don't think art is meant to appeal to everybody, I guess. And that might be a really broad thing to say, but and you know, you can meme on me for like speaking my truth, but it is my truth. I just don't like, I don't know. I just don't like some things, and that's why I don't draw them. You know? But people have a problem with that, and I just think to myself, like, how can you have a problem with me doing the thing that I like to do and choosing to do that thing? I guess people have a problem with anything, right? So I guess at the end of the day, that's kind of the answer. Yeah. And yeah, again, moving on to like the whole, you know, bodies don't look like that, bodies don't move like that. I think it can be fun to mess with like proportions. And of course it, you know, that also happens in the next drawing that I do. It's definitely very much like a crazy wacky proportions that, of course, it's not realistic. It definitely fucking is not realistic. Are you kidding me? And I'm not trying to say it is realistic. Nothing about like that kind of art is trying to say like, oh, this is what it should be and this is what it could be or something. It's just like, damn, that's a cool picture. I want to draw it. So I don't really know the answer to any of this stuff. I guess I'm just trying to say how I feel. Dude, this is my therapy podcast. It's my dumping ground. This is my emotional dumping ground, guys. I guess I'm just trying to start the conversation. Welcome to the conversation, guys. What do you think? Yeah, so I don't know. I think what you like and enjoy has become too much of like a reflection of like who you are as a person, maybe. And so when I say like I enjoy drawing these things, people are like, oh wow, so you must be like you know, I'm just gonna say it, people accuse me of being fat phobic or being like against like, you know, different body types, and you only like this type of body type, you're a fucking bigot, you're phobic. I mean, no one personally has really said that to me. Actually, the meanest thing anyone's ever said to me is that one of my characters that I was painting digitally, they looked like they had their skin looked like burnt chicken or something. Dude, that stuck with me. It was probably the meanest thing ever, but it was, at the same time, it was kind of hilarious because it was right. It was actually true. And I've that's stuck with me all this time because I went, let's not make it burnt chicken again. Let's not do it. Because I noticed something very bad with like the way I was shading skin is I was going crazy with contrast. It was insane. But I was also trying this like low saturation sort of like skin color that I've been seeing. I don't know how to describe it. It was like very low saturation, but I was not doing it right whatsoever. Even though it was a mean comment, I took it in stride. I was like, yeah, let's fix this. You know, I've got a pretty thick skin when it comes to that stuff anyway. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Okay, that went off the rails slightly. So yeah, here we go. Sexualization, yada yada yada. Oh, you know what, sometimes when I'm looking at comic pages, dude, I feel like comics are like the most egregious examples of like sexualizing women. I haven't read many of them, but dude, I gotta say, when I was doing I was drawing Emma Frost at one point from like the comics. Dude, she has crazy history, but I kind of dig it. Did you know she was like a stripper at one point? Or something like that? I was like, damn, this woman's led many different lives. Girl boss. No, it's actually probably more sad than girl boss, to be honest. Yeah, but you know, I actually really enjoyed reading up about her character, and like I love the way that she was drawn. That art style was really nice, I have to say. They're really cool stuff. again, like, I can see why people get very, like, upset about the constant sexualization, though, like, because it really is constant, and it really is mainly directed towards women, right? And, like, the type of sexualization, I don't even think, like, listen, if you're writing, like, men get it too and stuff, it's like, it's not the same. Babes, it's not the same. You can't convince me otherwise. It really isn't the same thing. That's what I hate about these conversations, is it always leads to, like, certain people being like, this happens to guys too, right? Like, no, it just doesn't. There is, like, one body standard type for men, which is, like, uber jacked, like, steroids uber jacked up the wazoo, which I think has had a very negative impact on guys. Oh yeah, also, like, height, I guess height's, like, a big thing for guys, which I feel really bad about. I mean, I don't feel bad about it as in, like, I personally made that happen. I feel bad in that I wouldn't want guys to feel that insecure about their height. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't want anyone to feel insecure, actually. That's the thing. And I think with like guys, women, anyone, if you're trying to court someone and they're like, you got too much like tummy fat, or you're too short, here's some gold premium tier advice. You don't want to be with that person then. They reject you, no, you're rejecting them, honey. Someone doesn't want to be with you because you're like 5'1"? Okay, you're a fucking moron. Bye. Someone doesn't want to be with you because you have tummy fat, because a very, like, a thing that, like, literally everyone has, and even the people who don't have it, God bless them. Okay, let them go find someone, this mystical tummy fatless being. Even the skinniest people alive have tummy fat. I don't know, it's like, okay, don't be with that person then. You don't want to be with them. I feel like it's possible to draw this kind of art and still be, like, accepting of different looks and different lifestyles or whatever the fuck. I don't know when society became this thing where it's like you're boiled down to, like, I don't know, one thing or something about you. Are we forgetting that people are, like, genuinely very complicated emotional human beings? Are we forgetting that? I think we're forgetting that. God, do I sound like so pretentious right now? Maybe. I don't know, it's like, yeah, I like to draw this stuff, but then there's a lot of beautiful sculpture that I love to look at that showcases, like, all the ripples in the body, and, like, that's a very beautiful thing too. But sorry, I'm not a sculptor. And also, to draw those would be very complicated. I'm not very good at that. Sometimes I'm just in the mood to draw some nice legs. And to me, nice legs are probably, like, kind of, like, muscular, maybe? I could go more muscly, though, looking back on it. I could. I think muscles are cool. And then sometimes it's really fun to draw people with, like, you know, really thick ass, thick thighs. Like, it really is just, there's so much you can do, and sometimes you just feel like doing something different, and sometimes you don't. Wow. And, like, as I'm even saying this stuff, it's like, this feels like a pretty normal opinion to have, right? Am I wrong for that? I feel like I'm not, and I feel like if people want to judge me for, you know, what I draw, I mean, that kind of just comes with it, right? You know, I've posted very tame things to Reddit and been told that I'm too freaky, and it's like, that's just kind of part of it, eh? And, you know, you gotta remember that everything you do, it's not gonna appeal to everyone. And as hard as you try to appeal to everyone, you're not going to. So you might as well just do what you want to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody. And I don't feel like what I'm drawing is hurting anyone. Wow, this feels like a video where I'm, like, trying to defend myself a lot. But to be truthful, these are all thoughts that I've been thinking about for the past, like, 5 years, you know? Like, I remember when I was very insecure when I was younger, like, in high school. When I did see these drawings, when I looked at, like, League of Legends art and stuff, because I played League, I would look at this art and be like, oh, it's so fucked. Like, dude, her fucking leg is like totally disjointed. Haha, this is so dumb and unrealistic. But it's actually kind of nice to look at. And yeah, so like when I was younger and insecure, I definitely had more of like a negative opinion about this stuff. And as I've gotten older and become more secure in myself, it actually stopped bothering me. And it could be like, maybe it could be something else, but I feel like when I started to feel more secure in myself as a human and, you know, actually really liking the way that I look as a human, yeah, egotistical much, I stopped feeling insecure about this stuff. But man, is it hard today though? Because you know what kids have to grow up with today? I grew up with like niddly art. Do you know what the old niddly art used to look like? Holy moly. And still that was like, oh my god, I'll never look like her. Today, oh my god, do you know the amount of like TikTok cosplayers who use AI to slim their waists? It's literally unachievable, but it's presented as though it is achievable. And I think that's kind of what's getting me. That's kind of what's getting me as like the separation of this, I guess. Because I'm not gonna date someone who wants to fuck niddly, right? You want to fuck niddly? You're not dating me because I'm not niddly. Sorry. You know, it's a 2D image. Sorry, bro. But when people see these videos of like these cosplayers who are using, and it's not just cosplayers, right? It's like not everyone, but like people who make these types of videos. And you used to be able to tell really quite easily that they were using, you know, the Facetune app, which also does body. Can you believe it? There was this girl whose video went viral for doing a Spider-Man cosplay, and she like falls back on the bed. It's like a top-down angle, and her waist is so tiny. It's so tiny. And it's not to be like, oh, where are her organs? Haha. This is gripping criticism. It's like, oh, you took this video of yourself and you altered it to be like this certain type of way, and like I guess she's trying to emulate what was in the comics, right? The body types that are in the comics. And we're using these AI things to filter ourselves, to make ourselves look so, like, I guess in a way, yeah, it is like, oh shit, I'm gonna look like this character in the comic books and she's got a fucking tiny 2-inch waist, fuck. So I guess that kind of is like a big part of it, eh? It's like, damn, okay. I guess if we feel that bad about it, then we start trying to actually mold ourselves to these things, thinking that that's what's wanted. Yeah, it's like I kind of get it. Me personally, when I take photos of myself, I don't use filters because when I first got access to Snapchat, I used filters all the time, and it really quickly became a thing where I'd take off the filter and I'd be like, oh. And as soon as I noticed that started to happen, fuck, I was like, oh, this is really unhealthy. I should not be looking at a picture of myself or like myself in the camera and go, ugh, like have a visceral reaction. And when I would put the filter on and off, I'd look at like the differences it was doing to my face, and I'd see it like changing like my jawline and my chin and stuff. And I just started going like, oh, that's really not healthy. It's not. And so I stopped doing that. I was kind of on and off it for a few years. If you scroll through my Instagram, you can definitely see like filtered pictures and stuff. And you know, for the most part, I mainly just tried to put on makeup and then do like, I guess like color filtering or something. But there's definitely some filters in there, you know. And yeah, I just went, yeah, this is not good for me. And so really nowadays I do not, unless I do like a silly filter. I'll do silly filters that give you like a crazy smile or something. But at least with those you're like, yeah, I look like a freak, but I'm choosing to look like a freak. So then when you look at yourself normally, you don't feel as freakish. It's a hack. So, I mean, yeah, there's that, right? Yeah, I suppose if I was trying to, like, I guess it's like a whole thing with cosplay. In the cosplay community, people really want to look like the character, but in real life. And some people will go to extreme lengths to do that. You know, some people try to, like, make their skin darker to cosplay, like, darker characters, and then people are like, ooh, that's a bit problematic. Anyway, that's a whole, like, separate thing, and I'm not really here to talk about cosplay. What I'm going to talk about is this AI shit. And as an artist, OMG, I get asked all the time. And the new Sora 2 AI stuff is, listen, guys, I made this podcast to not be like a doom and gloom sayer. I made this podcast because I was actually tired of people with all the doom and gloom and stuff, but, chat, we are cooked. No, I think that I want to start this conversation as like, okay, you know I'm an artist, so you know I'm going to have certain feelings about this, and you know, some of the pictures that I'm drawing here, maybe they themselves were AI. It's become really difficult and exhausting to even try to figure out what is AI anymore. Have you noticed that? It's becoming like a job in of itself. And for the time being, I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm probably just going to be seeing and referencing a lot more AI than I would have liked. But I think it's gotten to the point where it's like, fuck. It's really hard to filter it all out. It's just gotten too good. And I don't mean good in like the good way. Yeah, so I think that I don't understand you if you're the type of person who's like, oh, well, why are you so resistant to AI? It's the future, bro. You're just harming your own future because, you know, you need to embrace change. You know, the camera. Remember when the camera came out? Everyone always brings it back to the fucking camera. What the fuck about the camera do you fucking want to fucking talk about? Oh, God. No, but seriously, you're actually gonna equate that to the same as, like, the digital camera coming out? Oh my god. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, please. Anyway. I don't understand. Why do you want to live in a world where we have no ability to understand what is real and what is not real? Because that's where it's been headed, and that's what people have been saying for a very long time. And we're kind of there. Granted, I think the Sora 2 AI does have some notable features that can kind of give it away. A lot of people are saying, like, oh, as long as we keep the watermark, it's fine. As if there isn't, like, a billion different AI things that remove watermarks. Like, bro, are you fucking serious right now? And I feel like the most of the people who keep saying, like, AI is the future are, you know, being either willfully ignorant and just, like, living in fucking fairyland about it, or they're just too actually fucking stupid to see the potentials. Not even the potential fucking shit about AI, but the real current rampant issues with AI. And I don't know, the fact that so many people refuse to even see that or interface with that argument, it's bizarre to me. It's like, why are you writing so hard for something that's just going to ruin everything? Like the foundations of all that makes the world go round, you know? Like, people think it's so great, but when it replaces most jobs and nobody has work to do, nobody can make a living, what kind of a world is that? Why do you want to live in that world so badly? Because I feel like wanting to live in that world is hedging your bets on this like idea that the governments are going to step up and they're going to like make it so you can just, I don't know, you get like universal basic income or something for not having a job because of AI. Like, no honey, I don't think that's actually going to happen. Actually what I think is going to happen is not that. Honestly, I thought more was going to happen when they had the what was it? It was the AI on like Discord. Midjourney was always generating like Disney stuff. Yeah, I thought more was going to happen there, but no, nothing really happened. TBH, so it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, so I don't know, that's I guess that's my main point. I just don't understand you if that's like the world you want to live in. And if you think the world is not going to be like that when the time comes, then I think that you're just kind of stupid, to be honest. And, you know, people say like, oh, it's so great that we have AI now because now we don't have to like pay artists to make us the things that we wanted. And it's just like, okay. I'll agree that there's some things there where it's like, yeah, no one would pay for someone to do this thing. Like, there's those AI things that are like, turn your dog into a human, and all it really does is just takes like the I can't really speak on like how it does it exactly, but people act like it's fucking magic. People act like the AI turning your dog into like a human being, and it's just really probably just cross-referencing like a database of like similarly tagged things and then just assembling bit by bit similar tags and then shitting it out, and people act like it's a fucking genie. Yippee! My dog looks like a human now. Oh my god, I didn't know her personality had such big tits. And like me personally, I don't find enjoyment using those things. I don't use those things. Turn your cat into a human. I don't give a shit. I don't want to know what my cat looks like as a human. And if even whatever you shit out, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, that's my cat as a human. Do you know what I mean? It's not genuine. It's not interesting. It's just, it's all very like manufactured and unimaginative, in my opinion. That's how I see it. I think if you don't really think about how the AI works, or if you haven't like learned in some capacity like kind of how it operates, and yeah, it probably seems like fucking magic. It's like, whoa, holy shit. You know, I've seen what another trend of people talking to ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to generate an image of what it thinks your personality is like or something, or yeah, or like generate a picture of my spirit, ChatGPT, and based on like our previous conversations, because you know these people, they be info dump into their ChatGPT about like all their life's traumas and shit, and then they're like, oh yeah, can you please remember the time that like my cousin like chased me with a stick, a yardstick, and then how traumatizing that was for me. And then like ChatGPT's, okay, I'm generating a spirit based on all the childhood memories you gave me. ChatGPT will remember this. And then like these people make these sentimental videos with like music where it's like Billie Eilish, you know, singing that sad song like meow 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 meow. Yeah, the one from Barbie, that's what it is. I don't remember the lyrics though. I only remember the cat version, sorry. And then it's like ChatGPT really knows who I am. No, bitch, ChatGPT doesn't know who you are, man. ChatGPT is a fucking string of like numbers smushed together. People have like deep, quote unquote, deep conversations with ChatGPT about like religion and God. And they're like, oh my god, I think I'm close to making ChatGPT sentient. Like, bro, were you born yesterday? So, like, okay, AI bros. this is really the society you want to live in, where people are falling in love with this stupid ass computer? It's weird. And you know what the saddest thing is that people are only falling in love with ChatGPT because it just agrees with everything you say and like goes, wow, that was really insightful and really thoughtful. Okay. Alright, I'll make sure in the future to give you plenty of praise and make sure that you are feeling seen. Thank you. Anyway, so was there anything else that I could help you with just to keep you here a little bit longer? It always has to have the last laugh. Fuck ChatGPT. Stupid asshole. But it's like, you really want to live in a society where, like, everyone wants to fuck their phone? Are you mental? Are you in love with ChatGPT? It's like, I just don't get it. I really don't. And I tried, like, the thumbnail, like, AI shit. It's soulless. It's soulless and it's unfun. It's horrible. Prompting AI is horrible. It's so boring. And it's almost always way slower than me just picking up a fucking pencil and just doing it myself. Now, I say that as someone who's been drawing for, like, over a decade. Easily 15 plus years of drawing. Easily. I've been drawing for a very long time, so I get that, like, I'm uniquely at a point in my life when drawing comes a lot easier for me. Like, as you can see, the first 2 drawings I did here were kind of shit. Kind of really shit, you know? In my opinion. Yeah, but I don't know. It's like, nothing for me will beat the process that it takes to really assemble something together yourself. And that's why I just don't understand about, like, all these people who are using AI to make their art Patreon. You know, they'll use AI to generate, like, sketches instead of actually sketching themselves. And it's like, you're missing out on, like, a lot of fulfillment. Like, actual, like, real personal fulfillment. You know? Like, I can at least say that my younger self can... Well, my younger self is no longer there, because I'm me, right? But my younger self wanted this so badly for me to be able to just draw like this and to be able to say, like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that, no problem. I'm not perfect at it, but I don't really... I think that's, you know, it's part of the human experience. It's not to be perfect. It's to just be, to do, and to experience, you know? Like, you only have one life here. I know people have different thoughts and feelings on that, but I'm just going to operate on the assumption that this is the only life we got, guys. So, do you want to spend the only life you got, like, typing in prompts to get, realistically, a very shitty image? Because the thing about this AI stuff is that I see it all the time. My DeviantArt homepage is just AI at this point. Pretty much. And I see it all the time. And on Pinterest too. It's so rampant on Pinterest. So look, you can go, oh yeah, it's kind of a pretty picture, but the longer you look at it, the more you realize, like, oh, these details don't make sense. This wasn't something a person made. This is... It makes it go from, like, being like a, whoa, that's a nice image, to being, like, really unimpressive really quick. It's true. It's not impressive. You look at it and you're like, oh, okay. But when you see a human doing it, it's like, you really understand the gravity of how long it took to become like that. You know, and it's not even just about, like, how long it took to get there. It's about the symbolism of how long it's grueling. It's not easy. I spent many days crying because I was drawing shit. Crying, literal tears. You know, blood, sweat, and tears, guys. You know, I have eczema on my hands. Do you think it's easy to draw all the time? No. Bro, my hands are itchy. I'm still doing it, though. I don't know. That's just kind of how I think about, like, the AI stuff. And like, I really genuinely, what do people think is going to happen to the world in the future? Oh, here comes my cat. I was wondering how this would look. Oh god, she's not sitting on my notepad, by the way. She's like kind of sitting, but in that sort of like perch position. Anyway, I'm just trying to go along with my drawing still. She's in the way. Yeah, it's almost time to wrap this up, eh? Hold on. Sorry, this Caleb wanted to call me. And yes, that is my ringtone. Oh god, I hope that doesn't copyright me. I don't care about the copyright. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I just think that, you know, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I get it, right? Like, there's a lot of people out there who want to do art, but it's just like, they pick up a pencil and they draw and they think it's going to be this amazing, immaculate scene, and then, you know, you're stuck with the realization that you're just not skillfully there yet. And that's hard. I get it. That is hard. It's really difficult. It wasn't that long ago that I felt the same way. Really. And, you know, like, with the way things are, you know, people, they work their job and they come home and then it's like, oh, I just don't have the effort to, like, you know, practice drawing spheres and shit. And it's like, well, so what are you gonna do instead? You're just gonna generate a picture of Miku Hatsune? Okay, I mean, I don't know, it's just more looking at screens and zoning out. I think I'm a screen hater now. Just like with the how addicted social media has become for everyone. It's scary to think about. You know, I like to think charitably about this, because it's like, if you're on the train and you're taking the same old train ride that you've always taken, you know, a lot of people defer to just looking at their phone, scrolling Twitter. And, you know, for me personally, I actually really enjoy to still look outside the window on the train. I still really enjoy looking and seeing that same old scenery, because sometimes it looks different in different seasons. And, you know, sometimes there's different developments that are happening, or, you know, whatever, right? And I just look around and I just see all these people on their fucking phones. So addicted to their fucking phones. And I used to think of it like, oh, well, you never know. Maybe they're talking to their cousin who lives in fucking Switzerland or some shit. I don't know. Maybe they're talking to a family member or something, or communicating in some other way. You know what's that was the charitable thing to think about. You know what the most likely thing is? They're probably browsing some fucking snark Reddit and like laughing about like crazy deranged shit. They're probably laughing at someone's like literal psychotic delusions that they've made about like some celebrity. Let's be real. Most people are probably on their phones just like looking at, you know, the Jake Paul Sora AI videos, and like, I get it, they're kind of funny, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's disturbing how realistic the videos have become. You know, AI pictures, a picture is a picture, and there was still things to look at that are like, that's kind of sus. And you still can see, like, you know, the devil's in the details, right? And with the Sora AI, I think there's still some details there that you can pick up on, but you really have to like zoom into these videos and really look at like the background, look at like hair. Like hair has like this noise to it that is like classic AI, because I guarantee you the watermark is going to be gone. There's going to be something that's going to pop up and get rid of it. It's just, have you even seen Photoshop's content aware fill? Bruh, that shit is good. I'm just saying, like, as a concept. I'm not saying people are taking these videos into Photoshop and removing the watermark there, but it's gonna be gone, okay? It's gonna be gone. And so, like, really think about, like, the real world application here that is going to be so detrimental to our society. And, you know, to bring it back to, like, the Bonnie Blue thing that I was talking about, in a way, actually, no, deepfakes, not Bonnie. This has nothing to do with Bonnie Blue. Her porn's already out there. But what about all the women who are in like high school, who have their classmates taking photos of them and making deepfakes of them? There's been tons of reports on that, and yet you don't care about that. You don't think that's kind of fucking weird? I think it's pretty fucking weird. In fact, it's illicit, you know? It should be. It's just, it's bananas, right? But, yeah, so, again, like, I think if you're, like, an AI person, this is the perspective on why people think you're such a freak. Why people think you're such a freak weirdo. Because, of course, the first thing people mostly are going to be thinking about, especially women, is the real-world application that's going to harm them. You know? People are going to take their Instagram photos and then make the AI take their top off or something. And sure, it's not really them, but it's still like... Bro, it's weird. Don't do that. You're weird, bro. Yeah, so, I don't know. It's like, yeah, AI... cool, replacing artists, awesome. I like to think of it like this. If someone was going to commission me, they would have. And the people who weren't going to commission because they're too cheap to do it, they weren't going to do it, you know? They weren't going to do it. They were just going to make do with what they could, and now that AI's here, all the cheap bastards are going to continue being cheap, you know? And... yeah, so that's how I think of it. For me, I like the process of drawing. I like starting something. Well, okay, actually that's a lie. I don't like starting the drawings often, but usually you get to a point midway through where you're like, oh, this is coming together, man. I want to see how this looks in the end. And that's how it is for me. So, I don't know, I really enjoy that. I love art. I love it. And I like making it. I like making it, I like consuming it, I like injecting it into my veins. Yeah. So I don't know, I guess that's kind of like what my video was today, is just like talking about the art stuff. And like, look, listen, I can see some real world, like, good application for AI, of course. Of course there's gonna be some good stuff, you know, like the medical, you know, breakthroughs that it potentially can help. It's like, okay, I see that's good. That could be good. That could be nice. But like anything, there's like a lot of potential real harm, and not a lot of protections against that, you know? And not a lot is being done to protect the people who are potentially going to be harmed by it. And the potential for harm is very big. You know, we've had a lot of problems with AI and people generating CP or CSAM with it. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Kinda not for that, you know? It's kind of a bad thing, right? It's a lot a bad thing. But a lot of people hand wave it, or they just choose to not think about it really, and I just don't understand that. I really don't. So, yeah. Like, I don't know. I wonder if companies have started replacing people with AI, and I wonder just how good it has been. It seems like at the moment with the videos, there's a lot of potential there. But I do wonder, like, how good is it at actually replacing somebody, you know? And I think, you know, people would actually like to work their jobs and don't want to actually be jobless. Who wants to get a job where it's just maintaining the computer that does everything for you? You know, I know some people enjoy those types of jobs, but not everyone likes that. In fact, a lot of people probably don't like that. And just how many people do you even need to maintain the computers? Eventually the computer's going to maintain itself. Then who maintains the maintainer? I don't know. I just haven't really seen any good arguments for all this stuff. I really haven't. It's crazy. I actually haven't seen any real, like, arguments for it. Apart from, like, the medical stuff, and it's like, okay, but most of the stuff that's in the news isn't fucking medical breakthroughs. Or most of the stuff that you see is people, you know, making videos of Jake Paul being gay and doing makeup. And as funny as the videos are, it's just like, a lot of people actually believed one of the videos was real. It's already happening. What about, like, the real world political aspects that this could have, you know? How, like, you're not going to know it's an AI video until you see the filter or the watermark, and that watermark is going to be gone. I'm telling you, that watermark is not staying, guys. Anyway, I think I pretty much started to wrap up the video here, so I'm going to leave you with those thoughts and say a goodbye, guys. I hope you enjoyed this weird video. I enjoyed making it, so I guess I'll see you later, and have a think about what I said, and let me know what you thought about what I had to say. Okay, well, I'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.